Oh, it's recording. I'm humming a song. I have not been sleeping well, and I'm not in the best of moods. It's okay. I'm actually still pissed from yesterday. Yesterday's rant in the car. Gotta hate this life, man. What a horrible life. But, let's go. Off to buy some stuff again. As usual. As per my errands for myself. Ay, nako. Dude. I'm not in the best of moods, man. Just laughing like that makes me feel bad. Sumasama parang, you're not actually happy. Anyway, what was I gonna say? Weddings, man. Weddings on Facebook. Parang, damn, man, I am so left behind. Usually, I won't really feel, parang, you're not really stressed out about it. I mean, me, not really stressed out. However, because of my situation, wherein I'm trapped, yun talaga, there's going to be a different feeling na parang, this is so fucked up, man. Parang, it's a reminder of how you're trapped. Ganun. Usually, I'm not gonna blame people for wanting to be together. Yung mga bagay. O sige, you had a great deal with your company. You earned a lot of, I don't know, you got some new, I don't know, house, whatever, man, whatever. You're getting married, good for you, good for you. Good for you, diba? Good for you. But in my case, because I'm trapped in this thing, this insane, vicious thing, it's a reminder of your being trapped. Reminder of the insanity. And to be taunted while that's happening, man, that is so wrong. Yun lang. There's a connected issue that I wanted to bring up, but I forgot. There's this judge, man, on Facebook, wishing people harm, injustice. Chief Justice pa nga yata siya. Those are unfortunate means to achieve an end, no? The end being knowledge of justice, knowledge of what were the other stuff? Knowledge of justice, knowledge of compassion, all those other stuff. Good stuff, no? Unfortunate means. Usually what you would want is to reason with the person first. Have to reason with them first before you start wishing them harm, for them to learn. Kasi, alam mo, the best really, is for the person to attain his own insight. That's the most real too. Because if the person attains the insight himself, that means it's purely internal. You know that there's a real urge because it's pure insight, di ba? Ngayon, alam niya talaga. Because it's, it wasn't coerced, it wasn't triggered by an external thing. Talagang internal insight, that's the best. Also, but you can't expect that all of the time, and maybe to believe that there are always insights without external triggers na parang you just realized it without an experience, however minor. For example, in my situation, I'll say that I have insight into ethics, but I do acknowledge that I grew up experiencing certain things that would allow for that kind of insight. No? Ako pa rin yun. Okay? That's still me. And it wasn't really in your face na no? Although, most of them. For the most part. I don't want to talk about this now that I think about it. Now that I mentioned it. No? Apparently don't want to talk about my childhood experiences. My experiences growing up, I mean. Kasi, alam mo naman, the problems are a lot more insane these days. Pero that's what I mean, man. There are experiences. Did it trigger it? I don't think it necessarily triggered it. It just served as the context within which I could reflect on what I could lack and what would be better, yung mga ganung bagay. What would be right for a person to do. Yung mga ganun. It's a context. Not necessarily triggered because I lived with it, no? Kunyari, if you're always sick, di ba? If you're always sick, if you're healthy, if you've always been healthy, am I pronouncing those words correctly? If you've always been healthy, you will never know that, I mean, you will never know the importance of keeping fit. Yung mga ganung bagay, di ba? But if you've been sick all your life, you've always been weak, you have health problems, then you know, man. You know na, oh man, I do not want to experience this, as much as I can. That's the context within which you will realize it. You will have that insight in your sickness. That's different from being triggered when, for example, you've always been healthy and then suddenly you experience an extreme kind of sickness. Then that's a trigger. You say, oh man, this is horrible. I shouldn't have been smoking, for example. Should have been... pero mahirap eh. If it's smoking, you've always been smoking. Let's say I shouldn't have... or whatever. That's the basic point. No? Ganun. So those are unfortunate means na you would have to suffer through bad stuff for you to have a chance at getting the virtues, in the loose sense, virtues. The conventional and popular sense. Ganun eh, no? Bad trip eh. Unfortunate. Insight is the best. Reason is the next preferable thing. It's preferable because you don't really have to suffer anything. You just have to get that. That's the thing. However, someone will evoke the virtue in you, and you'll get it. Mga ganung bagay, man. Yun. And then after that, then wala. For you to learn, it's gonna be harder. You're going to have to go through hardships. Apparently, that's really how people learn. Experience of hardship. Parang, fuck. Now it's happening to me. This is so bad, man. I want things to be fair. Is she? Yeah, she's falling. So that's what I mean. Experience hardships. Chief Justice pa nga yata yun eh. I think that guy was a Chief Justice of the US. Yeah, I think so. Chief Justice ba siya? I believe he was American. Oh, that sets the date of this recording. Ay, unfortunate means. Pero people are fucked up, man. No joke. I don't want to add negativity to this recording as much as possible because I want to be able to upload something. That one. That's the point. I am in such a bad spot right now. I don't know what to do. Ano ba gagawin ko? What will I do? But again, friendly girl yesterday. Friendly girl. I don't want to extend my condemnation or my extreme, irreversible condemnation of everything. I don't want to extend that to her. She was friendly eh. Unless behind the scenes, she's fucking me up. Di ba na yun? Bahala siya. What friendly? No? Yan. Because I have a rant Right after what happened there, right after I went to that place, I ranted because it reminded me of my cyclical predicament of harm. No? Living nightmare, man. Cyclical. Ulit-ulit lang na parang ginagago. I don't know what happened before. Maybe I'll touch on that later in another recording. Ganon. So, man, what a horrible what a horrible life. Kailangan kasi there should be real respect for dignity. For, I call them functional judgments. Sige, I'm gonna introduce them here, no? I call them functional judgments, no? Hanapin nyo na lang kung ano yun. Wait, hindi ko explain yun. Basically, your dignity. The reason I say that there's none is because you're waiting. What are you waiting for? Diba? If it's moral, we're talking about dignity, no? And that's moral. So, if you're still waiting for the law, that means that you cannot be urged to do what's right on its own. No? The right is not motivating enough. Parang, holy fuck, man. Holy fuck. Holy fuck. It's not actionable. To them, it's not actionable by itself. I actually went to officials. Although admittedly, I didn't really give a full, it was an unconvincing presentation of it, admittedly. Pero, just that, how they dismissed that na parang, well, I think they said that, can we force them to do it? That's their response, you know? Kunyari, I'm being shunned and I'm experiencing isolation. It's a bad it's a bad situation to be in. Or their response was to say that, can we force them? I think even in a mocking manner, parang, in a mocking and kind of, semi-mocking, not really super mocking, parang, they were asking, do you think that we can, parang they're trying to extract a contradiction. Can we force them? Parang, no, you can't really force them. But it's still happening. So, you have to, I'm trying to get assistance for that kind of situation. Diba? That's what I mean, man. To be in a situation wherein you're shunned, that does not require law for you to know that that's wrong, because humans are social beings. It's a necessary part of their well-being. The person is shunned and experiences no good relationships, or at least the relationships that he already has are bad, na gano'n, nasa shun siya. That's a bad thing for his well-being. That is bad for his well-being. Yun. What law do you need? Hindi kailangan, pare. Hindi kailangan. For them to, on top of the shunning already and the isolation, you're going to insult and taunt. Oh, that's very bad, man. Anyway, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to spend too much time talking about negative stuff. Pero yun, that's the point, man. It pisses me off that they can, they will not accept the argument, even though it's actually pretty easy to understand. But they're not convinced that it's a morally salient point. It's not morally robust enough. Really? Because they've never experienced it, Shunning is a rare thing. Especially when you're my age, na parang, why? When you're a child, they'll just say that, well, that's what bullying is, that's what childhood is, But when you're grown up, you're supposed to have settled into your reality, na parang, that's how you've always been, man. When you were a child, that's your experience, you either belong to the popular group, or you belong to the non-popular group, or fucking kill yourself. Yung mga ganun bagay, di ba? Mga ganun options. And the thing with me was, I was not shunned when I was a kid, when I was growing up. I wasn't, I was perfectly socialized. Ano ba yan? I was perfectly connected to the relationships. Although I myself am an introvert, so iba yung, even though I was accepted into social, alam mo yun, yung parang I was not part of the outcast group. Even if that was the case, I was not an outcast. I was an introvert, so I myself will seclude myself. Yung ganon bagay, Yeah. And now, it happened to me na parang certain shit happened. I cuss. Pero certain shit happened, and I'm complaining. Probably perplexes them that someone could have that kind of complaint. We've all settled into our adult lives, no? Adult hierarchy. Meron yan. And I'm complaining. What am I doing, ano? Ganun yan eh. I think that's really where they're coming from. What do you mean shunning? Oh, if you've always been shunned, that's where you belong. Sabihin natin, you grew up a popular girl, and here you are as an adult, a popular girl. Well, no surprise. What's my point, man? What's my point? Parang hindi nila ine-expect na umaangal ako ng angal. They don't expect anyone to keep complaining. Diba? You've been fucked up already. Stop complaining. Settle into that. Ganun sila mag-isip. Puta. We've all gone through our we've all been filtered by life, ganyan. Oh, we're supposed to be settled. That's why we can mock each other now without any threat of physical altercations, no? Ganun yun di ba? The way people mock themselves when they're when they are in their adult roles in society, it can be really aggressive and insulting if you try to do that to someone still growing up, adolescent. Awa yun eh. That's a fight waiting to happen. But when they're the ones taunting, they're using their position to taunt, man. It's fine because people have already settled into their roles. Now, they're expecting me to be parang, you're not, the reason you're there is because you grew up like that, ganon, no? Eh, hindi, pare. So, I'm not used to being abused. See that? I'm not used, because that's what it is, right? If you grew up, I don't want to call them losers. I've never had that attitude. Sa totoo lang, no? To my credit, I've never had that attitude. If you grew up being the one being taunted, no? If you went through your adolescence as the taunted kid, being taunted some more while you're an adult is just normal. I didn't grow up like that, man. So to them, it's like, oh, ano yun? Suddenly, there's this guy that's, what? This is not normal. I'm not used to being abused, is what I mean. I should use that as a slogan somewhere. Not used to being abused. Gago pala kayo eh. Gago eh, no? I don't want to remember. They think that they can just taunt na, no? Well, may ganun yan, pare. Mga social roles, man. Social roles. You grow up in a certain way. You settle into your social role, or social position. Very implicit. You don't really sense those things, huh? And that's it, man. You get used to being abused. You get used to being taken advantage of. Ganyan. Yan. Ginagawa nila ngayon sa akin yan eh. Ako, puta. Gagawin ko. Ang ina nyo pala eh. I don't even have the remedy of, being, I'm not even being listened to. Being heard. Seriously, no? Of course, you can hear me while I'm making sound waves. Pero that's not my point, of course. Ganyan yan.